If you look at the 5 billion that went into this company that's pretty much bankrupt right now, 4 billion went to
Marketing.
ICC, BCCI, Qatar, the Olympic Games, X, Y, and Z. No ROI.
Go to some schools,
I started
you can
cable TV in India with zero capital. I started a toothbrush company with zero capital. I started UTV with zero capital. So I think it's about a mindset. And look, I just want to be a little controversial here again. I like Shark Tank as a format, but it's a little bit of an oyster. It's a cocoon. So I think we need to caution people, money's pouring in. Actually, the sector would be very well disciplined with not capital.
In a sector where big names crumbled under pressure.
This company quietly built one of India's largest upskilling platforms.
And as learners and to be working professionals ourselves,
We've come all the way to Mumbai and now we're headed straight to the upGrad headquarters to meet the founders. Ronnie Screwwala, Mayank Kumar, Falgun Kompali and their CTO Ankur Dhawan.
And to make things even more interesting, we have a founder, Pratham Mittal, joining us.
Why is there a bell in the middle of the office?
So this is an old antique of upGrad. So the first time we opened an office with 5 people, we put this bell to celebrate any small event. So let's say somebody made a sale. So they would come and ring the bell.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. This is an awesome office that you've built.
Well, it's not been built, but I guess the buzz is the people.
But I've always wondered what your first 30 days were like.
See, I have to say I wasn't the painter then. So I was more the person who was sitting there, and we had our co-founders, Falgun, Mayank, who were actually figuring it out.
My name is Falgun Kompali and I'm one of the co-founders of upGrad.
My name is Mayank, one of the co-founders of upGrad.
So started this about 10 years back. I was looking at all of our university partnerships, make sure university partners, corporate partners are brought in to keep the curriculum cutting edge and then successfully take it to market, which involves sales and marketing. So that's the whole piece that I was looking at.
And I've been mostly in the education space. So I've been sort of doing education either as a consultant, then as an investor, and then starting the journey with upGrad.
So I think my role was, how big is the canvas? What is the paint? How will the palette come? Why is it all so pastel? Why is it not standing out? So those were the early days. And I say that symbolically because that represents everything that we were.
How do you find these 3 people though?
See, I think whenever one starts something, everyone talks about domain expertise. So I spent about a year just meeting tons and tons of people. That's when Mank and I interacted twice, thrice. And then the 4th time when we got together, we said we should do something together.
So there was always at the back of my mind a thought process that, look, if I'm helping so many companies to invest in the education sector and I cannot find too many great assets to back, I felt if that's the knowledge that you have gained, why don't you apply and do something of your own? And that's where the thought of upGrad came in.
The basic vision of the organization was to provide accessible, affordable and quality education. And we felt like online and technology are a great platform to solve for all of these 3 problems, not just in India, but globally.
I saw there was an opportunity that access to high quality education at scale was missing. A lot of content that was there was like Doordarshan of 1990s. I'll put the camera here and you will talk and I will record the lecture and the lecture will get uploaded. So there was no engagement that was built in. And therefore our thought at upGrad was, how do we bring in a 360-degree learning experience of looking at content, looking at technology and the human support level and bringing it together as what we call a full stack approach to education delivery.
Once you have decided that you want to study with us, obviously, then there is a process of you applying to a university and university verifying your profile and then saying, okay, yes, you look good for this course and making an offer, and then post that offer, there is a journey of paying fees and all that payment partners, etc. So that's the second piece, which is also very important because you want to give affordable learning options to learner, and maybe many times they will not be able to afford the full university fees and they need to pay in part. So that's the second piece. And the last piece is the learning experience.
So that was the vision, and I think that's what we've been working on. Still a long way to go, but I think we've made reasonable progress in the last 10 years.
Unlike most platforms, upGrad didn't just focus on college students. They focused on a group often ignored, the working professionals.
When you think of online and working professionals, it's still a very nascent concept.
So a 40-year-old guy or a 30-year-old person is going to say, why am I being taught something that at 22 I learned? They're not realizing that actually it's a revision and it's being taught in a slightly different way. But today, I think it's very, very relevant for a 38-year-old learner to figure out what the questions a 28-year-old are asking that's in class.
And 10 years back when we started, there was no concept of you work and you're parallelly doing an online master's in AI. Let's say in India, the challenge was different. In India, universities were not used to teaching online when we started upGrad. So like educating them about the concept of online. So it was like more concept selling. That was the big challenge, which we try to address.
But a great product is only half the story. How did upGrad gain trust of their target audience? How did they get new customers in?
Remember, the education that we are talking about at upGrad is for working adults and working professionals. These guys are not used to learning. Somebody at your age who graduated from, let's say, 12th standard 2 years back or 3 years back needs to go to a university. That's the place where the market is ready. So you have to think about marketing in places where the penetration and adoption of the product is very high, and places where penetration and adoption is very low.
So, what exactly is upGrad doing to get new customers, and what is the type of brand messaging that you want to put out? Because I think in the recent past, there's been some sort of unconventional marketing from your side.
So if you see the history of our campaigns and what messages that we did, the message was very clear. If you study, you will grow. If you sort of invest in yourself, you will see the returns. आगे बढ़ो या आगे चलो, नाम की नहीं काम की degree. All those terminologies were very serious. But the way we wanted to bring out the message was slightly more quirky, because then only it will connect and hit the audience where the person says, "Arey, ये तो नया था कुछ." So that's why we took slightly unconventional approaches.
And in this business, do you get repeat customers?
Yes. So that's the way we built the funnel over time.
Okay.
So one of the fundamental visions at upGrad has been to become the lifelong learning partner for our student.
So once you start studying with us, then the whole journey from first day when you come to the platform till the last day you graduate and becoming an alumni and coming back and helping the existing student. So the whole journey which is there is part of the learning management system plus alumni system plus other system.
So when somebody is 18 and they say, okay, I'm thinking of doing my first bachelor's, but because I'm working in my family business or X or Y or Z, I can't go full-time to campus. I want to do it online. Or even if you want to go to campus, upGrad has options. Then you work somewhere, 3-4 years later, you say, I want to come and do a master's in AI. We have options for you both on campus and online. Post that 10 years later, you come back and say, okay, I want to do a short certificate in generative AI because that's come up as a new technology. We'll have that. So for us, the idea is to become the lifelong learning partner for somebody from when they're 18 to 80 years old.
So one-stop solution.
Correct.
For education.
So we're building that funnel out. So we're building the product portfolio in a way which facilitates for repeat learning and to be lifelong learning partners for somebody.
But if you see in terms of the time which a learner spends with us, the most of the part he is spending in the learning part. And that is what differentiates upGrad from any other partners, any other EdTech player, how well we do in our learning experience.
You know, and I wonder this about Masters Union, about Tether as well, which is how much of our investment truly goes into R&D of learning and training and education.
I think it's asked and answered, actually. So it's a little bit of a solved problem, and it's an asked and answered question. It's just that you get distracted and detracted with that thought process. So I think we need to caution people, money's pouring in. Actually, the sector would be very well disciplined with not capital. You've not gone out and raised capital. Built your thing based on how you want to cut your coat according to your cloth. And I think that is a strong message for people in your situation.
So after the UTV exit, you thought you'll build this, and you probably thought that you'll build this from the sidelines more than being involved day to day.
Yeah.
Has that strategy panned out, or are you now involved full day to day?
No, it hasn't panned out at all, I have to say. I think in the last 3 years, I didn't sign up for the intensity with which, but this sector is so phenomenal. It is so scalable. It is so much of impact that you can't stay away from it, right? Because it's not that it's changing so much, actually. This is a sector that doesn't need that much of change, but a lot of dynamism, a lot of disruption. So yeah, I think being in the forefront of something that is so impactful is exciting.
I have a question now about upGrad a little bit. Right, when you're in your first couple of years, isn't it truly hard to get those first 1,000, 2,000 customers? And can't you only do so much at the end of the day at VTL? You can go to some schools.
I started cable TV in India with zero capital. I started a toothbrush company with zero capital. I started UTV with zero capital. So, and like you can say those were the days. Actually, no, those were the very tough days. Those were not the days. These are those days. If you look at it. So no, I think it's about a mindset.
You know, whenever I see like an early stage pitch deck, the student always says, you know, my first GTM is going to be, I'm going to try and optimize ads on Facebook and Google. And that's going to cost money. Now, what do you think? What would you tell them? Ki, boss, there are these other 5 strategies that you can deploy to get your first 1,000 customers. Forget about digital for at least 2 years.
Yeah, no, but I think your communication and your ability, and people have done it frugally. People have done it totally bootstrapped. If you think the pace is the right, you have to figure out whether whether you want to pace something. If you believe you just don't have the resources and you're waiting for the resources and you want to wait for 2 years versus starting up, what would you do? Because I think the best answer, which you really, when everyone says, okay, this is what I can do, I said, okay, then let's shut it down. Then suddenly answers come from nowhere because then it's binary. So I think the approach right in the beginning is never binary. So you normally get binary when you are in a crisis mode. And what is a crisis? I remember so many people have asked me, so how do I deal with in a crisis? I said, firstly, let's break it up. Like, what is a crisis? Is it an existential crisis? Is it a decision catharsis where you haven't actually taken decisions for the longest time, so now you're in a crisis? Is it a people crisis? What crisis is it? Because I think we all have this. And I said, no, I can't. If you break it up, if it's an existential crisis, the first thing I would say is, bad news has to travel fast, take all the hard decisions once. The other part when we get into an existential crisis is we take forever to come to a conclusion. And then we do it in phase manner. No, I'll do this. Then if it gets really bad, then I'll do that. So then there's a lot of that can change. And most of the crises have come about actually because of lack of decision making.
So it started 2014, 2015, and it would have gone through its own stories, ups and downs, probably as good as a Bollywood movie. And I'm waiting for one on upGrad one day. But tell me, what were some of the inflection points in your growth journey, right? When do you think were the points where, or the decisions were, where you truly changed as a company or you truly leapfrogged yourself?
I don't think this sector has seen inflection points. And I think the tragedy was because so much money went into it, everyone has the high expectation of what it did. But if you look at the 5 billion that went into this company that's pretty much bankrupt right now, 4 billion went to marketing. ICC, BCCI, Qatar, the Olympic Games, celebrities, X, Y, and Z. No ROI. Right? We can all
didn't go into learning.
We can get into crocodile tears and whatever else, and I'm broke but not broken. But you have to take accountability for the setback that this sector has had, because the capital you raised, you did not put it into the right places.
Tell me about what your advice would be to a young founder who was always thinking, I'll do something in education, but now looking at all the conversations happening, it's like,
I think they should not listen to the media, because actually the consumer, the parent, the working professional, the graduate, the ambitions in the country, those are the barometers and nothing else. If that's your reason to start a business, don't start it in the first place. So that's my first advice that I would give to you. That if your validation is not your learner, your student, and everything else you want to do there, and if it's only if somebody's going to back you, you're out. You should not be starting that business.
Understood. So now there's a genuine student of mine who just went to Shark Tank.
And look, I just want to be a little controversial here again. I like Shark Tank as a format. I really like it. But it's a little bit of an oyster. It's like a little cocoon.
Sure,
it's a little cocoon. So I think we need to caution people. It's nice. It's aspirational. It gets you thinking. Your parents in the room feel, "Acha, chalo, Shark Tank pe aa gaye." All that is good. But watch out. You can't walk out of that place thinking that's the world, because that is not the world. No, but sorry, go ahead.
The student, right? He's building a sales college, right? Where they want to train students in sales. And he's been great at building his first couple of cohorts, right? He's really hustled on LinkedIn, created content, tried to bring in students to apply. And I think he's graduated a couple of cohorts, and he has a placement report that he's released, because of which he's getting. So his flywheel is starting to run, right? But now his question to me is, Pratham, now, I've reached a point where I'm doing 3-4 crores in revenue, right? But to now get to that 30 crores, 40 crores, now do I get to my next 100 students, 200 students, my LinkedIn is exhausted. Content can only do so much for me. Now I have to raise. Goes to Shark Tank, or he goes to the market, and the market is not as warm to something like this, right? For whatever reason that might be. So now to someone who's now in the middle, in their 1 to 10 journey, let's say 0 to 1 is done. How do you think about bootstrapping at this stage? What should he be doing if he was sitting right next to you?
So, firstly, I would tell you, don't fool yourself that you bootstrap, because you got your cohorts and you've got that, right? Second is, you have to pace it. Are you getting restless because you feel whatever you want to do? Because companies are not built on just being restless. Of course, you need to be restless. The question is, would you rather have an uneconomical model for the next 5 years, or would you rather have an economic model that may take 7 years? And if you can answer that question, and that requires a little bit of maturity. because you feel you're in that race. If I don't do this and I don't do this and I don't do
So
this.
why go from 3 to 30 crores? Don't go from 3 to 30 crores. Go from 3 to 4.5.
You'll go from 3 to 300 crores if you build the pathway a little bit better. Because this way, there's a lot that will happen on the way to the forum that you will not know and anticipate there. But if you've got a model right, now you want to tinker with it and start losing money in the whole process. All I'm saying here is, I don't have a clear answer because each one to their own context. But if you look at it, your job as a company, and especially in a sector like this, is to outlast people, not to be the first.
You have to be evergreen,
Yeah, and I think today, being first is actually not as relevant as it was 10 years back.
That's
being
a fair
first
point.
is not a strategic advantage. Not. And in AI, even not.
We'd love to get a round of the office if that's okay. And just walk around. You want to see where the team sit, what the energy is like.
Sure.
And if it's okay, can we also see your desk and your office?
I have a rotating desk, but sure.
But that's okay. We'd love to see. All right, this is damn interesting. So this is a conference room, but you've taken over the conference room.
Yeah, temporarily. And I repeat to people, this is not my office, it's my temporary office whenever I come here.
We'd love to take a tour of the rest of the office as well.
Yeah, I think we can just do a small little round here because it's pretty much the same.
Do you also sit sometimes in the open?
Sometimes wherever it's needed, yeah. So this is a mixture. There's a little bit of PR, there's a little bit of tech, there's a little bit of IT, there's a little bit of there. Most of this here on this side is sales and marketing. That's the international team out there.
That was great. Honestly, haven't had this conversation so deeply with anybody in a long time. So I really appreciate you giving us your time and a tour of your office.
Super. And to all your students, all the very best. I think
You have to visit our campus.
I am going to do that. I am going to do that. We need to keep our ambitions and ambitions.
This year we've sent almost 4 to 5 teams to Shark Tank, just from one college. And the students are like, no, we need to get Ronnie sir to our campus. We'll make that happen for sure. Thank you so much.
Take care.
No, but thank you so much for giving us time today.
Normally people ask, so what do you do for when you're got a break, or what do you do when you're down and out? And I want to tell you, this is my recharging when I'm down and out.